What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I know I was not going to make a video today, but my vacation got a little bit cut short. Nope, nothing bad, nothing crazy. Like, just vacation got cut short. I'm home early. Yeah, that being that, I'm really tired today, pretty exhausted in terms of what I did at the beach and stuff. A really fun trip. You can check out some of the fun things I did on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, the whole drill. That's not going to make it to YouTube. That'll be, YouTube is more for staying professional and kind of giving you guys advice and help where I can. But something really cool happened this weekend was the Japanese Championship Series, which is their national championship, effectively. This determines who makes day one, day two invites. And they're playing effectively a team up on format. One of the last times you'll see a format like this in a competitive setting. And there's some notable exceptions, obviously. They have like no Jirachi, no Tapu Koko or Prism, therefore you won't see decks like Pikarom. But it concluded this weekend. A lot of top streamers streamed it. Franco Takahashi, my close friend, streamed it as well on his Twitch channel. I will be doing a VOD review on my YouTube channel because I haven't actually watched any of the matches. I was on vacation, but I'm going to do it tonight on Twitch, plus tomorrow possibly. We're going to do it up till we get to Unite. So let's look at some of the lists, and we can talk about kind of how that'll shape post-rotation, because it's a little bit of an indicator of what cards will be good if they're good now. So let's look at that right now. So we're using Ho-Oh News, and I use Noah Allerton's resources as well to kind of compile some of these things. So we're looking at Masters, I believe. I think there is juniors, and yeah, there's juniors and seniors, winners and stuff up in here too. So we'll take a look at them. So the Masters champion opens a new tab. Played Shadow Rider VMAX Calyrex with Alcremie, but he also played a 1-1 of the tag teams. So he played Trevnar and he played Gengar Mimikyu. Now, traditionally in the US so far in this format, we've been seeing a lot of the Mewtwo variant. Which, is a little more splashable, a little better. But this version notably does not have any answer to Eternatus whatsoever. It has no path to the peak. It has no Zapdos, nothing like that. It's simply if I hit Eternatus, I'm going to lose. If I hit a Dark Style deck, I am going to lose the game. Alcremie is your best answer, but even that Alcremie sometimes cannot get the job done well enough. But the deck is very consistent, very simple. You've got a lot of 4 counts, 4/4, a 2/2 line of the Alcremie, one of each of the tag teams, kind of more splashable as opposed to being the main attackers. Your horse is basically just the attacker here. 4/4 and that 2/2 split. We do lose Calm post rotation, so this Calm can probably become something like another couple Evo Incense as we move on. Switch Balloon. Training Court's a really interesting stadium that I think has been really overlooked in the discussions of post rotation. Because it's not like super strong, but Training Court does get you a basic energy back to your hand, and it does, both players can use it. And a lot of situations like with Shadow Rider, that means I get to attach and draw 2 and keep the cycle going potentially. So Training Court acts as a pseudo draw card, which is really nice. And then we have our staple supporter engine that we're going to see time and time and time again in standard and post rotation, whatever. Marnie, Research, Boss, you know the deal. Now that was first place. Second place's list was actually really, really, really cool. It's going to take us to Twitter. You guys can get a peep of my Twitter here. Follow me if you haven't already. We have Welder Mewtwo, which is, one of my favorite decks of all time. So this is a really cool list to see in the standard format, where it's like kind of like the toolbox style Welder Mewtwo deck, which got Gengar Mimikyu, Reshizard, Vileplume, Mawile, like a lot of these like very staple cards. But it cut out a lot of the like extra cards like Naganadel and all these like other things in favor of the Umbreon VMAX line. Now, the Umbreon VMAX line here is basically like a catcher effect. So now you can Welder and Boss in the same turn effectively, which is really cool, because now you get 2 effects in the same turn. On top of that, you have a single copy of Shadow Rider Shadow Rider V, which you can now use Astral Barrage to clean up kills, set up kills, which I think is also really cool. A lot of very fun aspects to the deck. I think if I was playing this deck, I would try to splash in a couple more like niche attackers in here, or a third Mewtwo, for example. For consistency's sake, but you have Zapdos, it looks very consistent. Also, Umbreon can attack, if you guys didn't know that. Let's look up Umbreon VMAX's attack. Not alt art, that's just a dream of mine. I don't know why it's teasing me like this. Let's just delete this really sadly, actually. Umbreon VMAX does do 160 vanilla for a welder and an attachment, so it is like another 2-shottable card that's like really strong. So you have a bunch of 2-shot cards in the deck, not so much one-shotting with this version of Mewtwo, but you get the job done with welder and tool gem. Like, it's just a very nice consistent deck that I really like. He did get second. I haven't watched the match yet. I'm 100% sure it's streamed, so that'll be VOD reviewed tonight, and potentially I'll put that up on YouTube. If the comments, leave in the comments below if you want to see me upload some of the matches to YouTube that I talk over and get my honest opinion on. So if you do, I will do that for you guys. If not, I just won't, and it'll be on Twitch exclusively. Senior winner also played Alcremie, Shadow Rider. Looks like a very, very similar list to the one that won in Masters with a Recycler as well as an Ordinary Rod, no Training Quartz. These are quick balls? Yeah, these are quick balls. Swell over the Training Court. Besides that, everything else is very, very, very similar, consistent. One of each of the tag teams. Yeah, nothing more to say here with this list. Looks very much similar to. He's got a stamp, which is nice. No senior runner-up list, no junior champion list. The juniors, okay, so in Masters, we're going to get there eventually, but a very notable thing is in Masters, there was no Rayquaza in the top 32 so far from the lists that have been collected. There's only like 3 or 4 lists missing, and no Eternatus, which is both really shocking to me because I thought those 2 decks would be really strong coming into this format. Looking at some of the decks that did it really well. Eternatus should be able to deal with some of these decks in a best-of-1 format especially. Rayquaza should be able to deal with some of these decks in a best-of-1 format especially. I was tracking some of the things on Twitter. Obviously, I didn't pay complete attention, but there's a lot of Welder Rayquaza floating around. Yeah, no, it just felt like the deck should have done better. And junior runner played Tornadus, which is interesting as well. So let's look at the Masters top 4 as well. Our contestant here played Shadow Rider VMAX as well again, but he played a Dusknoir line, which I don't really know what Dusknoir does, so we're going to Google this together. Dusknoir TCG. Vivid Voltage, I guess, is this one? Yeah. Special Energy have no effect. That's actually really spicy. So you get this investment to get this guy off, and I guess I don't really know what deck specifically you'd want to counter with that. Maybe the Wild Mewtwo deck, maybe... I don't know. I don't know which deck you try to counter with that specifically. One second, I gotta pause. Okay, slight interruption there. I had a work thing to deal with, but we're going to continue here. The list does not look that crazy. I don't really know what the Necrozmas are meant to stop. I know you deal with like Decidueye and stuff like that, but like, I don't know. This list is interesting. I kind of need to see it in action. Hopefully he was streamed, or they were streamed, sorry. So it should be interesting. Another top 4 list, another Shadow Rider. Oh my god, there's a lot of Shadow Riders that did well apparently. Very similar, no Mewtwo's. Again, a lot of answers to Path to the Peak. This list plays their own Path to the Peak, but also answers to it, so nothing crazy here. A lot of variation on Stadium. No Mewtwo's, because I think playing Mewtwo is just like, yeah, just like one of those, like I think it's like a liability in this situation. Looks like in top 8 we also had a Rillaboom deck. Okay, with Zarude, interesting. Delmize, Rillaboom, Aggro. Delmize, if you guys are a Delmize lover, I think that card is underrated. So I think it has potential to see play. I know a lot of the Rapid Strike Inteleons did make top 8. Here's one of the lists. Obviously, Rapid Strike Inteleon, one of the better, like Urshifu Inteleon is one of the better archetypes to come out of Chilling Reign. As you guys know, I'm a huge proponent of it. I really like this deck in general. A lot of the lines are very thick. It looks like they're playing some, like a light Octillery, but the biggest difference is Japan has Medicham, which I think the first attack says for double colorless, it's like place 2 damage counters. If you knock something out, you get another turn. So you can kind of set it up so you get to knock something out with Medicham and like re-loop your turn. I don't think you can infinitely loop, however. I think it's just a one-time use thing, but you can just loop. But the very interesting thing is, look how few supporters this deck plays. 3 Research, 1 Karina's, 1 Erica's, 1 Birdkeeper, 1 Marnie, 2 Boss. Like, this is a very low supporter count because the Drizzle line gets you exactly what you need. The Crobat gets you exactly where you need to be. This is interesting. They did play the Mimikyu, obviously probably to deal with Mewtwo variants of the Shadow Rider deck, but as a whole, Shadow Rider is a very terrible matchup for you. No Passimian is very interesting, actually. I think if they played Passimian, they probably have a decent matchup into Shadow Rider because you can go 180, 150 and win the game on 2 bench things. But no, this is very interesting. I like this list. This list is cool. Let's see. Okay, can I translate this? He lost to Black Horse. Okay. Makes sense. That is a bad matchup. No list here, I believe. So then we go down to top 16s. So this is another interesting list / card that I wanted to talk about. Ice Rider is doing really well, again, with Inteleon. It's been very popular here in the United States and across online events as a whole. But Suicune is a card that I genuinely think is really, really good, especially just because if it's in the active, you get to draw a card, and then the secondary ability attack is just 20 plus 20 for each bench, yours and your opponent. So if you have 5, which is almost certainly you will with a deck like this, you are doing 120 minimum, and then if they have 5, you're doing 220, which sets up really good 2 shots on a lot of things, especially with Ice Rider if you go like discard both, and it offsets the Pride Stray slightly, so you can go 3-2-3, which is really nice, or 3-1. No, you can't do that. That math doesn't make sense. Never mind. Put the Hoopa away. But yeah, very interesting to the line. Also, a lot of 4-3-3 like lines basically of like Inteleon. So Drizzile doesn't seem to be the main core engine of a lot of these decks, but I do think Drizzile should be a 4 of in a lot of these decks at the very least, because if you prize one, game gets weird, game gets hard. But Suicune, really cool card, for sure. And then we have our classic favorite ADP, our Dialga Palkia. Suicune, very good here also, I think, just because it's another card that you can just use the water energies with. Like, any deck that can utilize these water energies effectively, plus having a free draw card, seems pretty strong. And this list is very, like, no Zacian focused, more like ADP plus, like, toolbox deck, where you have the Bird, one Zacian, one Zom. Maybe I'd go to two Zacian just because it feels like a better card than anything else in this deck. The Moltres, obviously, to deal with Shadow Rider. Very interesting to see how he lost, actually, this player. Because I think this list looks very solid and has probably a good matchup across everything. Only thing I could think of is probably your Urshifu mashup is not the best. But otherwise, I think everything else is probably really, really good for you across the board. Looks like there was a Sylveon deck that did well as well. Toyn, a player that we know and love on Twitter, they went ahead and got top 16 with Rapid Strike Balmor, a very funny deck and very cheap, actually. So if you guys haven't seen my video or Razul's video or Silvio's video, there's multiple videos, Tricky Gyms, out there with a list like this. Plays Catcher, very cheeky, actually. 2 Catchers, that's really cute. Not much to say about this budget deck. Everyone's really covered it already. It's very, like, thick in between what it is. Like, it's like a very, like, tight list, so check it out. Then we have Lugametal, it looks like. A very consistent deck across the board. You have the new Crystal Stadium that heals 30 from your metal guys, so it's very cool to have, like, additional healing on top of... Yeah, that's kind of annoying for people, actually. This is, like, a very cool card to help this deck out before it, like, has one last hurrah, I guess. We will never have that interaction with ourselves, but, yeah. Another ADP deck. Let's take a look at this. Looks like it. Yeah, it's another ADP deck, but this one's way more consistent and straightforward. Like the ones we're used to. This is like a straight, we know this ADP deck. This is one of those cards where if Dusknoir ever gets out before the Aurora Energy takes place, could be really, really damaging to, you know, ADP, because they don't play any basic waters. That being said, it seems fine. Also, one thing I've been noticing is like a couple of these lists have only been playing 3 Quick Ball or 3 Saucer. Very interesting omission of 4 ofs, but everyone can live their life the way they want to. I will not judge them. And then we have another ADP list. This one looks way more ADP focused with a couple of tech cards, obviously. Echoing Horn plus Boss to kind of get your prize if you need to. Tag Call. I don't know why Sabrina and Bryson's in the deck, but it's probably fine. Leon, very cute. I like this. This list is also very straightforward. We had a couple of top 32 lists to show up as well. Ice Rider and Teleon. What is going on here? Altaria, Frostlass, Suicune. What does Altaria do? Altaria. Altaria Evolving Skies. It does. Wait, excuse me. Okay, I guess I'll just scroll down. Search your deck for a supporter. That's very cheeky. So you basically have a free support search, a free energy excel onto this guy, and then you're 2-shotting everything pretty much in the game. Cute. Very cute. Maybe more Melanie could be better in this deck, but you're just bossing, killing, Echoing Horn. Cute. I like it. It's a very cheeky deck. More Sylveon. Sylveon does look like one of those decks that is doing very well just because it has natural Rapid Strike synergy, and Urshifu Rapid Strike is a very easy card to slot in because of the Rapid Strike energy as well. So if you play Octillery Engine to kind of set up, and then you have your other cards like Dedenne, Crobat, etc., you're already hitting for the damage numbers you need to be hitting for. And then Galarian Moltres feels like an auto-include in a deck like this where it's just easy to accelerate energy and get the ball rolling. So you get your multiple different types, you get a bunch of damage, you have no naturally bad typing. Yeah, it seems like a cool deck. I like it. Sylveon is going to be a good card, I think. Definitely in rotation. So, we've got some more cards. There's a Phalanx in here. There's a Passimian one. This list looks more like something I would probably play. Where it's like way more like thicker lines of the Inteleon. Still a small Octillery with Passimian. Like, I don't know. Karate Belt is still a really, really good card, obviously. No, this one looks way more consistent. I'd probably still try to stick Moltres in here somehow, but yeah. And there's a bunch of top 64 lists, but then it kind of like peters off because, you know, that's kind of where the ball ends. But thank you guys for watching. Obviously, I'm going to go over these VODs on YouTube. We'll continue with the post-rotation or regular content. Let me know in the comments below what you guys like to see. Again, today's video is like kind of a unexpected video because I was on vacation, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you don't, I mean, please let me know because I don't want to put out low effort content. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for all the support as always.